Hey everybody. I was I had this for a couple days anyway, but this thing with the former president, and stuff like that. I think those people think that we think he's God or something, or it's a mockery because it's a persecution type thing, and he's just a man. He's a man, flesh and blood. He is not the Antichrist. He is not. Uh, Jesus Christ reincarnated. I'm not saying people think that, but don't think that because that's what they want us to think. It's kind of like a mockery, and because look at the world. I mean, look at this world and this country and the U.S. and the morals are going down the tube. And stuff like that with the children and things like that. But I want to read this because I told you I have my eyes, I'm not, my head's everywhere. Okay, this is what is happening in Israel and judicial overhaul protests explained. It's kind of weird how this is because Passover was not, it's time for Passover and stuff like that. And Passover, what that was, if you don't know, Passover was when Moses freed was trying to get the slaves out of the hands of the government there, and then they put blood over their doors so they wouldn't. The angel of death would not kill their kids, or children, their firstborns. So this is, it's kind of weird how this is happening now. What is happening in Israel? Okay. Jerusalem, March 27, Reuters. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced increasing pressure on Monday to put the brakes on his government's drive to enact sweeping changes to the Israel judiciary, with hundreds of thousands of protesters taking to the streets. The court's overhaul plan has sparked unprecedented, they always use that word too, public anger since Netanyahu's coalition of hard right and religious parties came to power late last year, and has also caused alarm among Israel's Western allies. Critics of the Supreme Court, including many in the coalition government, say the bench is left-leaning and leftist and has become too interventionist the political sphere, while often putting minority rights before national interests. The government has been pursuing changes that would limit the Supreme Court's powers, rule against the legislature and the executive, while according coalition makes more power in the appointing judges. The panel for selecting judges currently requires politicians and judges who sit on it to agree on appointments. The present proposal would change that giving coalition governments decisive sway. Now the thing is with their laws, a lot different than what we have. A lot different, and there's people out there that know what I'm talking about. Netanyahu is formally barred from involvement in the initiative as he is on trial on corruption charges that he denies. As such changes aim to balance and diversity. The Supreme Court bench has also accused the media of misrepresenting the plan and fanning the flames of protests in order to topple the government, topple his government. Israel's democratic checks and balances are relatively fragile. It has no constitution, only basic laws. And we all know what they're talking about there. Well, I do anyway. I think I did no-hide laws. Look it up. Meant to help safeguard its democratic foundations in its one-chamber Knesset parliament. The government holds a 64 to 56 majority in seats. Critics say the changes will weaken the courts and hand unbridled power to the government, endangering democratic rights and liberties and catastrophic effects on the economy and relations with Western allies who have already voiced concern. The judiciary, no longer seen as independent, could also strip Israel of one of its main defenses in potential international legal cases, which may include any allegations of war crimes in its long-running conflict with the Palestinians. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant called on Saturday for the government to pull the legislation, saying disputes over the measures are threatening Israel's security, with thousands of Army reservists joining protests and refusing call-ups for training. Critics fear Netanyahu wants to leverage the judicial shakeup to void his graft trial or exert influence in any appeal at the Supreme Court. He has denied having any such intentions. The position also says Netanyahu's nationalist allies want to weaken the Supreme Court, to expand Jewish settlements in occupied territory, which the Palestinians seek for a state. Ultra-Orthodox Jewish parties, the coalition, want to pass a law exempting their community from service in the conscript military, a step they worry might be struck down by the highest court if its powers are not cut back. Israel's ultra-Orthodox population has long felt hounded by the court with respect to military service. I think it's those people, the ones that that do that believe in Talmud and stuff like that. The government had been aiming for final ratification of the changes to selection of judges by April 2nd, when lawmakers go on spring recess. Oh my gosh. Other changes, some of which have been approved at the first three Knesset reading required or ratification, have been deferred until Parliament reconvenes on April 30th. But Netanyahu was on Monday widely expected to freeze the legislation after his decision to sack his defense minister, who that's just weird how that was said, who proposed delaying the reforms provoked a massive street protest, and that also prompted other senior members of his party to call for a pause while the main labor union, there you go, went on strike. Doesn't that sound familiar there? But yeah, the Talmud's where you're going to find that the stuff that's why they don't have Easter things, because these people do not. They know Christ was there, but he's not their Messiah, because their Messiah had come, which I haven't. That's going to be the Antichrist. So yeah, and it's going to get very brutal if you're still around if nothing happens to this country till that happens, which I don't know what looking kind of like somebody's got a hand in the weather, like I don't know, somebody in the sky. Yeah, just it's kind of weird there, because look at the states that being affected. But anyway, with that, I'm going to just keep plugging away, and I'm going to do my due diligence, and I don't care what they want me to, it's going to happen. So, yeah, they want dirt, I can find dirt. So, anyway, with that said, I wanted to show you can watch these on YouTube, the protests and everything for Israel. Israeli citizens protest against Prime Minister Netanyahu's decision. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, with that said, Jesus loves you as always, and just pray for each other, love one another, and pray for the country, because we need to do that. And Jesus will help us. He will. But I want to say thank you for watching and listening to me. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up too. But I'm going to just keep plugging away like I always do. So God bless, and pray, and peace and love.